we live?
We're live.
Wow, we're early. This is awesome.
We're a little early, but that's okay. I
You
could.
know, yeah. I think we just hang out for a couple minutes because I'm sure people are going to be tuning in. They've been sitting at home, clamoring away for the past month or so, wondering when is Binge Live coming back?
When is it?
They've been in crying, fetal positions, calling therapists. I mean, it's tough when the show isn't on. I understand it.
I mean, you got to give the people what they want, and that's
but it's always good to make them. You want to make people wait for it. You want to make them want it. Build it up, the anticipation.
We could see how many people are actually watching this portion, and then we can show the logo and then reset, and it'll be like a test for the people that were there.
Yeah. Hope you like the episode.
Hope you like it. What if we just at exactly 10, we're like, thanks for watching.
Oh, this is awesome.
Just to mess with people.
That would be a fun way to start the Friday.
Happy Friday, everyone. Grab your coffee, come on down.
Yes, my caffeine
is. Join us.
So it's 10 o'clock. Meredith is getting caffeinated.
I'm getting caffeinated. Joel, do you have a beverage of choice in the mornings other than coffee?
Yes. Other than coffee, no. Just coffee. Maybe a Bloody Mary or a mimosa, but that's okay.
Tony P really got me thinking we need a Binge Live specific cocktail.
I actually think he should. I'm still surprised we never got deliveries, but that's okay.
I keep checking my doorstep.
So welcome back. It is great to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
I know.
How have you been?
I've been good. We've been busy. We've been keeping really busy, which is awesome. A couple more virtual events and some client work picking up. So that's been really, really great. But how are you?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. So kind of here, just busy working, same old, like everybody else.
We're in Blur's day. Ever since you told me that, I'm like, that is the most accurate description. Days don't matter anymore. If it ends in a day, it's a day.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting because I know everybody's starting to get excited about the reopening that looks like it's starting today.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody's going to be in these weird locations. I don't know how they feel about it. I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed, everything works out. It's nice to see vaccines are rolling out. There was the new one announced that looks like it's very promising as well. So this is all good stuff.
Yeah. Progress is progress, right?
Yes. It feels like it's nice to feel like we're going forward.
Yes.
It continues going, even if it's just baby steps. This is a very good thing.
That's all we can ask for.
I know.
Baby steps day by day.
So we're back, Binge Live. We're starting to announce some incredible guests, and we're starting with a really fun guy. No pressure, but he better be a lot of fun. Otherwise, we're gonna, be annoyed with him.
Yep.
No, Scott Woodhill he's awesome. MA. He is the founder of Woodhill Solutions. And Scott, are you there? Do you want to join us?
Come on down.
I'm here. Hey guys.
You've never looked better. How are you?
Welcome. We can see your smile.
You read the article, right? That now you can get it over Zoom. So no,
we can't be spreading fake news.
But were you double masked? As long as you're double masked, that's fine.
It's true. I'm actually quite alone in this room, so.
But it looks like you have a very lovely office space.
Yes.
Yes, it seems to be the same no matter where I am on this computer. It's funny.
It's amazing how that works. Wow.
There's room for plenty in your conference room.
There is, yeah. We're doing zero in person right now, actually.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Well, Scott, tell us about you. Woodhill Solutions. Give the people a little rundown. I know we know what you do, but share what you do in this lovely conference room of yours.
Well, sure. And it'll take up the rest of the 30 minutes. So,
okay.
So I'm Scott Woodhill, Woodhill Solutions. We do the things that are above me here. We do corporate training and coaching, but there's a theme of emotional intelligence and communication and connection through all of our training and coaching. Process is great. You can read books on process, but not everybody has the skills. Not everyone grew up learning how to identify what they're feeling in any given moment, how to communicate with other people, how to have empathy. So those are things that those are strong themes throughout all of our training, even though our training is like performance management or customer service. It's all about those skills that kids should be taught growing up and still aren't in school.
Now, you formed Woodhill Solutions about 10 years ago, correct?
Yes.
What were you doing before and what led you to do this?
I was doing something closely related. It's IT consulting. But seriously, I was doing IT consulting. I just kind of fell into it after college. My degree was in political science, but I met someone who knew someone that needed a consultant on this huge project in San Diego. And 10 years later, I realized, I really don't love this. I don't love what I do. And great company that I was working for. I did a lot of training for that company in IT stuff. That's broad, but so was the type of IT stuff that we actually taught.
I think just saying IT in general is pretty broad.
It's very broad.
I'm just saying.
Speaks to the whole internet.
Yeah.
I work in technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. So what made you wake up and say, like, this is the next path I want to go into?
Went through a master's program in spiritual psychology. And during that 2 years, I just kind of explored, well, what makes me happy? And I always knew, since growing up, I never really fit into any cliques or groups. So I was always trying to figure people out. And then, I wanted to be a diplomat, but got into IT consulting instead. And
which is the obvious way to go.
Very connected.
I mean, intertwined, totally.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, because you said political science. So that makes a lot of sense that you were maybe geared towards going the political route in some regards. And then IT became this just happened chance.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a bit of an exploration. When I started Woodhill Solutions, it didn't exactly look like this. I was first trying to find like maybe conflict resolution in the Middle East. My master's project was to go to a Middle Eastern country. I wanted to go to Syria, but they denied my visa. So I went to Jordan, learned some Arabic and just spent time there. And it was eye-opening. But then when I got back, I'm like, okay, so how do I make money? Like facilitating dialogue and, that kind of stuff. And realized working for companies is just lower hanging fruit, can still have a lot of impact and get to do what I love doing, but then have a family and earn a living.
Yeah. So really like conflict resolution and communication, like interpersonal communication is kind of your strong suit where you lean towards. Can you explain to me from, obviously you've been doing this for like 10 years now, how it's evolved with technology and if it's been challenging in the Zoom space or where we are now or how you've seen it change?
Yeah, well, first of all, when the lockdown started last year, I was just going to wait it out because the stuff we do is so experiential. It's always like, okay, a little bit of lecture and PowerPoint stuff, and then get in groups, get in pairs and practice these things, do these activities that on Zoom, I thought at the time just wouldn't have nearly the impact. And it's still true. There's nothing like being able to read body language and just being in person with people. But out of necessity, we have to figure out ways of doing things on Zoom. So that was a tough transition. And then I decided that we could do more manager coaching because that is usually virtual anyway. And that's another thing that we're already doing, but now offering that as a program, with a defined length of time and specific purposes and everything.
So so talk about the whole evolution. So when you first started versus now versus moving forward, what do you see has been the biggest challenge as far as the coaching and getting people as far as, showing, like you mentioned, empathy? Do you find that that's starting to become the new cultural norm where we're trying to teach people how to think those ways?
So for a long time, I was afraid of using words like emotional intelligence and empathy, and instead just focusing on more traditional business terms that wouldn't scare people off. But I think already things had been changing enough where it was my own limitation that I was putting on myself. And yeah, maybe some people will, maybe some decision makers are turned off by those words, but then they're not going to be receptive enough anyway. It's not, we're not we're not showing it like it is definitely corporate training and corporate services with those themes, but it's not just for the sake of teaching people, empathy. It's with specific purposes that they can use inside their organizations,
It's kind of funny to think that you're teaching people empathy.
I was gonna say, how do you even go about, I understand how it might make more sense in younger years, our formative years, in preschool, even before then, kind of getting in touch with your emotions and how to communicate what you're feeling to other people. But how do you do that with adults that are already fully formed?
Are any of us really fully formed?
Joel is.
Yes.
Yeah, I do this. So look, I'm not elevated and trying to impart, but what it comes down to is we assume the worst of people's intentions all the time. So the number one thing is presuming grace from people. And we've all been in workplaces, even if now, Joel's an independent real estate mogul and everything, but we've all been in office spaces before, and we know when people are talking behind other people's backs, when someone's clipping their nails at their desk and you can hear it and it drives you crazy, we assume that they just don't care. And we don't know. Maybe they don't know that's annoying to people. And so,
who doesn't know that?
Now everyone knows. After watching this, at least everyone now knows. You have no excuse.
That's like the photos you see online of people clipping their toenails on an airplane. You know that this is not right. Sorry. Okay.
Anyway.
On an airplane. Right. And there's a huge difference. I still think it's good, and it's good for me to reinforce this within myself, to presume grace of people, even if we're just on a flight with them for a little while. But with people you work with, you're with them more than you're with your families a lot of the time, right? So we spend so much time with these people. These are relationships that matter. And it's like forgiveness. For our own sense of peace, it's important to find a way to have less animosity towards people that get on your nerves, for example.
Yeah. It's like the contextual thing, right? When someone cuts you off on the freeway or you're driving, whatever, and in our brains, sometimes we immediately assume our context and not theirs. And maybe they're rushing to the hospital, maybe something in their world is happening. But initially we always think you are doing this to me and affecting me instead of, I wonder why.
In that example, though, we're right. They are jerks, and they shouldn't have done that. That's
I didn't say it.
Joel was thinking it.
No. Very patient with other drivers. Very patient person. But what's funny is that because you bring that kind of stuff up, and it's I just think when you're waiting in line, I'm going to go back to the travel, and you see people that are arguing with the people who are checking in the flights, and it's it's kind of fun if you just stop back, and I think you do this at work as well. Is you look at the people who are arguing, and at least I've done this in the past. I'm like, oh, dear God, I don't want to look like that. And so you just kind of realize this really isn't a big deal although in the grand scheme of life, if this is your issue of the day, you're doing well. So I think it is about kind of perspective for a lot of stuff when it comes to dealing with people.
Yeah,
which is not easy to do at all.
And self-awareness, right? If you're mad at someone, no one can actually make you mad. And I know people can do some really dumb stuff, but they can't make you feel anything. So
I can.
When you own your well, let's not test that out here, shall we?
Feels challenge accepted in his brain.
I know. I like game on.
Yeah.
I think we know what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah.
So this is awesome. So that's really cool. It's so funny because like we've gotten to know Scott throughout the various, whether it's binge networking or the networking events and things like that. And this is actually really cool to see a different side of you, because we've spoken about what you do before, but we've never had like the time to really sit down and talk about your approach to things and the background that you bring to it. And this is very interesting to see a different side of you. I'm loving this. This is great.
Nice.
Do you want to tell? Oh, go ahead, Joel.
No.
Okay, I was just gonna say, do you want to tell us kind of part of, I know you've done a lot of work, like either in meditation and different things with people in terms of like conflict resolution or just self-awareness. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I find it's a lot of the same concepts. So one of the things that I've had the most fun doing, and it's the deepest work and it's the most fulfilling, is I've worked with the LAPD facilitating dialogues between them and the communities they serve. And just, the way that you set it up is so important to let people know, okay, look, this is a space where you can be honest, but also be aware of how what you're saying might affect the other person. So, speak from your experience, try to stay away from generalizations, because that doesn't help anything anyway, right? If someone has had really bad experiences with police before, to say, well, cops don't care about people. Well, can you really, do you know what cops actually care about? You can say, in my experience, it feels like they don't care because I've been harassed and this and that. So at the end of these dialogues, just for a couple of hours each time, people will come away and they're like, when can we do this again? And they exchange cards or numbers. The cops, same thing. A lot of the higher ups they already have a mindset of service and connecting with the communities. But the, fresh out of the academy guys are the ones who drive around in patrol vehicles. They get a ton out of this too, because they actually get to interact with people in a completely different context where they don't have to, go stop a crime or something. So it's amazing. And so the same thing works in organizations. You can just apply this to two people in a mediation, to a facilitated dialogue, a table full of people, or a room full of people that work together.
So I'm assuming that you never have conflicts.
Yes.
Can we get your wife on here to verify that? That would be great.
Yeah, she's unavailable right now, but
well, you are at the office, so I understand that completely.
That's true.
He's out of earshot.
Now, how long have you been with the LAX Coastal Chamber of Commerce?
It has been at least 5 years now.
Wow, that's awesome. It's a good group of people.
Yeah. Well, I've been to other events from other chambers, and I've been to some cool ones, but this chamber, the LAX Coastal Chamber, always is looking for, they don't just sit on what they've been doing forever. They're always looking for, how can we serve more? How can we, serve the membership? How can we adapt to things that are going on? That's why the chamber went on Zoom almost immediately after the shutdown. It's like, okay, well, we got to do something.
Yeah.
So I guess we should tell people that Madam President Christina Davis is actually controlling the back end of this conversation right now via Zoom. So full disclosure, but still, what do you think of Christina? She's not listening.
What to say? She's texting me what to say the whole time.
She's very covert like that. Very covert. Yeah.
Her work speaks for herself,
Very
but it's just a testament, and us being here too is just a testament to them and to the awesome people that run the chamber and people that are in the chamber. But also, how do you feel that small business and being involved in the chamber has either impacted you or your business or both?
So no matter what events you go to, to really use any chamber well, you have to attend a lot of events, unless you have something that's very retail or whatever. But the relationships, just like in anything else, I guess, but the relationships are so important. So I go to a networking event, let's say, and I don't do that very often, but let's say I go to a networking event. I say, oh, we do corporate training and whatever. And someone across the room thinks, that's awesome, I should talk to him. And then afterwards they get caught up and then they forget and that's it. But then maybe the fourth or fifth time, maybe it's a mixer the next time in person, hopefully. And, we're having a beverage, there's music and we're talking and they go, oh yeah, I know someone who was just talking about like, they have so much turnover and, do you guys deal with that? And I'm like, yeah, of course. That's the kind of thing that we can help solve. That's the benefit of the chamber is that, the fifth or sixth time that you see someone that you hopefully like, you've formed a relationship enough. You know what I mean?
So you're saying show up and participate, simply put.
I'm not sure I said that. Yeah. Well, look,
Oh, Scott.
you have to pay attention to what your goals are, right? So what are your goals for being in a business membership organization?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they can only do so much for you. It really is up to you to actually participate. I mean, because like you said, when you're doing your own business, it's a numbers game. So it's not about just showing up at these events, handing somebody a business card and being like, oh, it's great meeting you. I got to go do that to the next person. You got to talk to people because you really do business with people that you know, like, and trust. Those are always the top criteria. And no, you're not going to meet somebody, excuse me, chances are you're not going to meet somebody on the first time there, but you keep going back. That's just business. That's what you do. I mean, it's kind of like the same, I'm gonna make this full circle with the coaching. You don't do one meeting with what your services are and then just say, okay, my business is perfectly fine. It's an evolution and you have to keep working at it and practicing to really get the skill sets down.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like perfect example. And the training, we'll do a one-off if they want, but doing a series is better.
Of course.
Not because it doesn't just benefit us. I really mean it's better because you get to have action steps and then follow up and review what went well, what could have gone better, as opposed to one-day training. We've all been to trainings before, one time. And even if you really love it, you take copious notes and then you get busy the next few days and then you forget to look back at the notes. And a month later, you're like, oh, wait, what was step 2 of that process I was supposed to be doing? Where'd my notes go?
Yeah, you need like that opportunity to implement and put it in action.
Like working out, right?
I'm sorry, what?
Like working out. If you just work out one day, you're like, cool, now I'm all buff, right?
I don't know if I appreciate that language. I'm just going to say that really quick.
Oh, the
So, what's that?
WO, working out.
Yeah, it doesn't compute. So we've done the business portion. We now know Scott Woodhill and Woodhill Solutions. I think we've gotten a really good taste of what you do business-wise and how you operate. But now I think it's time to really have the real challenging section.
Okay, are you ready? Drum roll, please. We are now welcome to the rapid fire round of Binge Live. You have 3 seconds to answer the following questions as quickly as you can. Are you ready, Scott?
Pass. I mean, yes.
Not an option. Okay, here we go. Number 1, what is your spirit animal?
A dog.
When I say the color yellow, you think of?
Yellow snow.
Favorite outdoor activity?
Hiking.
Favorite place to eat in LA?
Second date with my wife, fusion sushi in Manhattan Beach.
Oh.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
That I like big butts. I don't remember what that's called. It brings the house down.
I love it. Okay, and when you dance, you look like what?
A complete fool. But my daughter loves my dancing, so that's okay.
Do you have a go-to dance move?
Yeah, no. Yeah, snapping.
I'm just picturing something totally 80s.
Yes, totally 80s.
I bite my bottom lip.
That's how you know you're feeling it.
Yeah.
And what is your favorite show that you're watching right now?
That I can't answer, but Fringe is my all-time favorite show. Sci-fi. It was a good series, and I recommend it to any sci-fi nerds like myself.
And where is the first place that you will go when it is safe?
Hawaii.
Nice.
Nice. Thanks, Scott. You did great.
Oh,
Good job.
thanks. Good talking to you.
You don't win anything, but good job.
All right.
You win the satisfaction of doing a great job. Being put on the spot is hard.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Scott, this has been absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. It was great to get to know you on a business professional aspect with a little bit of fun thrown in there as well. So I think this is where we're going to start winding down for this week's episode. Next week, we have Mimi Donaldson joining us. So this should be another fun episode. Meredith, it was great to see you. I can't believe it's been over a month, at least, since our last episode together. So
Good to see
with
you.
that, I think-
Before we close, too, Scott, is there anything that we can do to support you? How can people get in touch?
Oh, yeah,
How do they support Woodhill Solutions?
Well, a squatter now has my woodhillsolutions.com URL until hopefully March when they let it go.
are you serious?
Oh, no.
Yep. So woodhillsolutions.net is the place to go. And it's got everything. I include pricing on my website because I think it's so important
That's
just to
good.
give people the information, and that pricing is the top. There are discounts available, but, I just want to let people know where they stand. So woodhillsolutions.net. Yeah.
Very good. That's awesome. I love that you put your prices online. I think that's great. I love that. So I think we should also tell everybody there's a bunch of stuff coming up with the LAX Coastal Chamber. So please visit their website, check on the events page, become a member, network, get to know your local business leaders. It's awesome. You'll meet people like Scott, Meredith, and me. But it's an awesome time. So thank you again, Scott, for joining us. And we will see you all next time.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Like, share, and join the LAX Coastal Chamber community.
Awesome.